Today on The Vibe we have a performing artist and we have a pharaoh. But first of all, Luke is going to give us a little bit of music.
At 6 years old, I broke my leg. I was running from my brother and his friends. Tasted the sweet perfume of the mountain grass I rolled down. I was younger then. Take me back to when I found my heart and broke it here. Made friends and lost them through the years. And not seen the roaring fields so long. I've grown. I can't wait to go home, and I'm on my way. I still remember these old country lanes, singing to tiny dancers.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Well done, Luke.
Luke.
When can we see you next?
I play every second week in Muscat Hills Golf Club. It's an open mic night for local talent.
Muscat
That's where you'll
Hills.
find me.
Every second week. Is that second week next week or the week after?
In 2 weeks' time.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Luke. That was lovely. And it is great to be back here again at the beautiful Shangri-La.
Breezy.
And
The
it is
beautiful
great to be back
breezy.
here with you, Joseph.
Thank you very much, Shruthi.
I've decided I'm going to be very nice to you this week. I'm just in the mood. Right, so we're back with the vibe, and today we have two Ahmeds on the show. Our first Ahmed is Ahmed Al Mullahi, who's a performing artist, and he's with us right now on the set. Thank you for joining me today, Ahmed.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. You're going to confuse us, by the way,
Why?
Ahmed and Ahmed.
Right, so Ahmad, I have to tell you this, that earlier when I thought about performance, the word performance in itself, maybe because I'm young, young, which you were 40 years ago.
What?
So I'm a young Indian, so I would think of colors and dance and theatre, etc.
Right.
That was until I came for your show, and then my whole perspective changed. So what would you define performance as?
Well, as performance artist, there's always, and this is what actually I really like about performance artists, because it doesn't put you in any label. There's a complete freedom in understanding what is performance. You know, we came to understand performance as something theatrical, something that has been
That's what I
rehearsed.
thought.
Exactly.
Yeah, like an actor. Or a
Yes.
stage
However, art has been progressing in a different level of expressions. What I exactly do as a performance artist is something that it's a way of understanding myself and expressing myself without any rehearsals, or it's just
If you had to use, I'm going to make it probably even harder. If you had to explain it in one word, what would it be?
real.
Real. Right.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
So it's contrary to what any of us have believed so far, yeah? It's not acting.
It's not acting. It's
or-
not acting at all. It's something that I don't know what is the outcomes.
Is it more physical or more mental?
Both. I mean, especially my latest performance, the one I did, I had no clue what was going to happen. I had no control on anything. I was just in a state of meditation in front of the audience for 3.5 hours.
Three and a half
wow.
hours.
Yeah.
So what is it that you do? What is it that happens to you when you're there in front of the audience for 3.5 hours?
It depends on which piece you want to talk about. I mean, the last performance, I think that was the most challenging one. Through just the preparation of it, I had to go through a physical and mental preparation.
Which involved what exactly?
So, for example, cleansing my body from any toxics, cutting out meat products,
So
a
you're
lot of
vegetarian?
kind of.
In the build up to the
Yes,
show, is you're
yes.
vegetarian.
Seasonally, you're vegetarian.
Yeah. So no, I don't eat red meat or chicken, but then fish and vegetables most of my.
Right.
But
And
then
then this is all part of the process, yeah?
that's a part of the process. So a lot of meditation, a lot of yoga, energy balancing, Reiki healing, for me to be able to maintain that stillness in the performance for 3.5 hours.
So are there any rules and techniques for this art form, or like you said, it's just impromptu?
It's no rules, no techniques, nothing. And this is what's really beautiful about it, because you're breaking all rules
Yeah.
and you're breaking every technique. So you have, like for me, I use the body as the medium. That's my brush. You know, every artist has a different tool. For me, I use my body as the tool
Right.
to express that. So, for example, the last performance I did, my body was the medium between the reality world and the state where I was in another dimension.
Shruthi says she's seen one of your performances,
Right.
and you're laid out.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes.
Laid out flat. Are you talking during this time? Because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen
No,
your performance.
no,
So
no.
everything is silent.
Yes.
So how do you keep your audience enraptured? Because you mentioned they're 3.5 hours. How do you keep them engaged for 3.5
Right.
hours? Because we live in a very short form world.
Yes,
And
yes.
attention spans are getting shorter and shorter.
Right. Well, part of the performance at the end, there was some sort of instruction that I have recorded before, calling for people and placing their hands on each chakra. So each person comes in and place their hand on a certain part of my body, would receive what is the connection between me and them.
How do you mean receive the connection? I mean, can they
So
see
Is
it
it
like a
or
sixth
feel
sense,
it?
is it?
Yeah.
No, it's basically recorded, so they will be hearing it. But then the whole experience is how do we engage when we look at a person and their consciousness is not there anymore? It's a completely different perspective of how do we interact with each other. So part of the performance at the end, which was the most emotional part of the performance, it was my mother. So my mom came and she placed her hand on my heart chakra. And she heard things that I've never said to her ever in my life. And that was the most, emotional part of the whole performance, where she was her reaction was completely shocking. And she was like, the first time she would cry in front of the audience.
Oh,
and it was
wow.
nothing rehearsal. And she didn't know that she's going to be in
Yeah.
my performance.
Are you the only Omani performance artist?
I think so.
And it is there like a global gathering of performance artists? Is there a place in the world where they all get together?
mean-
Is there a World Cup, for example, of this kind of thing, or a Hollywood of performing
Get
art?
over football,
Well-
Joe. World Cup, really?
Well, I think because performance art is something that's completely new right now, and even internationally, a lot of people don't understand it that well. But now there is a lot of awareness, and this is what I'm trying to bring to the country, is to raise an awareness about performance art. Is not just only about performance and putting a show. It's more about self-development, connections, spirituality, human behavior. And that's what I think the world is lacking at the moment, is just that deep connection. Because for me, what really brings us together is vulnerability, pain. That's the most intense kind of connection human can open with each
Right,
other.
so I've actually seen that you've also worked with a lot of birds and animals too in
Right.
your performances,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
how does that work? Because obviously it's not rehearsed. You can't direct the birds
That
and animals.
was yes. That was not rehearsed. So for my first live performance was the last one I did.
Okay.
But then my previous work were I would call them video installation and performances. So they were rehearsed. But then even the process was also kind of again intense when it comes to preparing myself physically.
But you had a snake wrapped around your neck in one of the videos
Did
I
you?
saw.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
You're
yeah.
a brave man. You're a
So-
brave man,
so
braver
did
than
you-
me.
So how was it? How did it happen? Were you directing the
I g-
snake or?
No. Actually, that's the thing.
Are
That's
you a
part-
snake charmer?
No, and I had phobia of snake, and that's one. I think every work I do is I'm trying to break rules and I'm breaking boundaries within myself. And I had phobia from snakes, and I got that snake. Nobody actually told. The guy who I borrowed the snake from, he told me the snake bit him once.
Oh.
And on top of that, I had a phobia from snake. For me, even when I was recording that, my hands were shaking.
Wow.
But then again, each performance and each work that I keep on doing, it's something that I want to break boundaries within myself, and that's where I feel like I'm developing as a person.
Right. So how many performances have you done so far?
So far, I've done 3. Now I'm working on my 3rd.
all
I'm on
in
the
Oman,
4th.
yeah?
Yes.
Where's your next one?
When is my next one? It's going to be hopefully in February.
In February. Here in
Yes.
Oman?
Starting here in Oman.
So
You-
what is it going to be, the project? You don't want to reveal it.
The only thing I can say
Which
about
animal
it,
will be involved is probably a better question in your next performance.
no, I think
A giraffe or a
no,
lion?
I'm not working with animals. I think this time it's gonna be more intense. I mean, preparing for this has been physically and mentally, it's been
Draining.
draining.
So if I had to ask you what the best thing and the worst thing of being a performance artist is, what would they be?
The best thing, I think, the healing process, like healing pains, healing.
So you are empowered to heal, or you are the one who's getting
I'm
healed?
healing myself.
Yeah?
Yeah, I am healing myself from different experiences in the past. But then the best, that's the best thing. The worst thing sometimes is when you don't have control in your performance and you don't know what's gonna happen.
But has something happened like that
Oh,
during
yeah,
one
yeah,
of your
yeah,
shows? Yeah.
I mean, the last performance I did, some people were trying to wake me up. They were like literally touching me.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
we do that with Shruthi actually. Every day in the office. Ahmed, thank you very much.
You're
It's been an
welcome.
absolute pleasure.
My pleasure.
Thank you,
Don't go
Ahmed.
Thank you.
far because coming up after the break we've got another monster car and we have a pharaoh in the house right here on the terrace. Okay, what have we got today? Well, it's yellow, just like last week's car. However, last week was little. This one is big. Jeep Wrangler Sport in its original incarnation with a 3.5 litre engine. However, that's been boosted by this big bulge, as you can see on the bottom, on the top, sorry, on the bonnet, which houses a supercharger. Have a look at the front there. Don't you think that looks like an angry face? It's a mad vehicle, a very mad vehicle, and it's had almost 5,000 riyals spent on it in additions, and all of these additions, although they look mad and angry and tough and rugged, they're for a reason, because the owner does a lot of rock crawling, going off-road amongst the rocks rather than dune bashing. That's why we have these big chunky tires. That's why you have the protection plates that you can see front, back, on the side. Now if you just come round here, these pockets here, by the way, are for keeping your sandwiches and drinks in. I'm only joking. If you just have a look in here. Hello, Ali. Are you okay? Have a look at that gear stick. A mad, angry skull, which just reflects the mad, angry nature of this particular vehicle. Obviously, the height has been raised by a 3.5-inch lift kit. And if you just have a look in there, you can see the Fox shocks. And you need that when you're going off-road here in Oman. Now, if I just come back to the front, this, can you hear that? Solid, absolutely solid this is, and it's got two purposes, not just protection in a collision, but safety as well. If you lose control whilst off-roading and the vehicle digs in at the front, this stops the whole car from flipping over. So it's got a very valuable purpose indeed. Jeeps, really popular in Oman, and you can see why.
Isn't yellow the best color for cars? Well, I have a yellow car which was bullied by Joe and everybody else in the crew. But anyway, we're still at Shangri-La. We're still watching the vibe, I hope. So Joe, what do you think of the car?
Oh, I loved it.
You did?
I'm not sure about the colour yellow, but I do love it. I absolutely love it.
I think yellow is the best color on cars.
Well, yes, your car is yellow as well, isn't it?
It
By the way,
is.
these colours are nice on you. That's 2 weeks in a row that Shruthi has come nicely dressed.
Yes, I would like to thank Millie's by Reflection for
I
this
knew it. I
beautiful
knew it.
dress.
I
Yes,
knew there
again.
had to be someone else involved because Shruthi on her own could never organise
I
an
could
outfit like
honestly
this.
crash a wedding and I would still pass off as a bridesmaid, don't you think? I couldn't do that in my clothes. But yes,
Beautiful.
thank you, Millie's. Thank you for making me look presentable again.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you very much.
Right, so we're back. You're watching The Vibe, and with us is our second Ahmed for the day. He's DJ Paharaoh. Hello, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
I
It's a
love
pleasure
that name,
to be
by
here.
the way.
Yeah.
I love it. Can I take it? Have you got it?
No,
Have you got it
I'm
copyrighted?
afraid you can't. No.
Yes, so how do you come up with this name? Why are you not DJ Pyramid or DJ Sphinx? Why DJ Paharaoh?
Well, Pharaoh reflects the culture, the civilization. So everyone.
Because you're from Egypt, yeah? I think
at
it's
some point
worth
of
pointing
time,
that out, obviously.
yeah, being from Egypt, you have to go back to your roots. So and it was a unique name. So I mean, at least in Oman, so nobody's using it.
Right, so this is one question I've had for DJs all my life. What's your sleep cycle like? When do you sleep?
Actually, it's tough because I have a full-time job as well.
Oh, wow.
I work for a company called Bright Lights. So, doing the sales business, I'm the sales director. So,
you're day and
only,
night?
yeah, I only work on weekends.
Right,
That's
okay.
the reason why I don't work every day.
Right.
And also, the scene is not pretty active to work a daily
Yeah.
DJ. There are no daily DJ gigs or events
Right.
happening. Only the weekends. People go out on the weekends.
So when did
that's
you
the spot.
start DJing in Oman, Ahmed?
Started 1998.
Wow.
Nin-
In
Here in-
Egypt.
oh, in
Oman,
Egypt.
2003.
Right,
When I came here for
How?
work.
How did you end up here?
It's just I came here for work. Actually, I was not
Ah, right,
planning
okay.
to do any DJing or any music type. Even when I took my CD case, my mother was telling me, "You're going for work, so why you are taking this? You know, it's like this is a game, or you're not going to play." Or
Yeah.
then
I forbid you, you cannot play.
yeah, I got a shot at late 2003. Like one of my friends, he is a DJ as well. He didn't show up for an event or for a regular night.
That's how opportunities happen,
So
yes.
yeah, they called me up. Can you do it? I said, yeah, I can cover, no problem. And then from there it started.
Right, but was there an active party or nightlife in Oman back then?
It was, but it was less than what we have now. It was
It's bigger now.
very yeah. It was
So I'm guessing that you're a pretty big name in Oman.
not really. I'm not the only one. There are a lot of talents here. And
You're
my
being
colleagues,
modest.
You are
no,
being
I'm-
modest,
Yeah.
DJ Paharaoh.
I can name some people if you want. Like,
But obviously not so much back in Egypt, I'm guessing. You're a bigger name here than you are back in your
because
homeland.
Egypt is big, so
Right,
the
okay.
market is big. Competition is like like anything.
Who's your DJ hero? If who's the person that you aspire to or look to?
I looked up to one of my friends in Egypt. His name is Khalid Hussein. He's pretty big now. He's a big name. He produces his own music. He taught me, and a couple of other of my friends. Like I don't want to mention names. Then somebody will.
Competition
yeah.
alert.
So that's where it started. I learned the basics, everything from him. I was watching them playing, going events here and there,
Right.
building up their career. So it kind of attracted me to.
So what do you think of the crowd in Oman that you usually get? Do you see the same faces in most of the parties you go to?
Not
or?
really. When it's a resident play, like when it's a venue that you play every week, you see mostly the same people who go out on that same particular night.
Right.
But when you do an event outside, like pool party, beach party, or any other type of event,
Have you done events here at the Shangri-La?
I have done in the
amphitheatre?
Yeah, the amphitheatre. I
Yeah.
have done. I opened for Roger Sanchez.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
okay.
For
Yeah,
Roger
yeah,
Sanchez.
yeah.
What's the biggest crowd? Was that the biggest crowd you've you've
No,
DJed?
the biggest crowd I had on a New Year's Eve 2 years back
How many?
at Al Moj. That was 3,000 plus.
3,000.
Wow.
Over
Yeah,
3,000.
It was
And you were
only a
playing
DJ
alone?
gig. Like no, we were like five or six DJs with
Mhm.
one DJ from abroad.
Right.
So that's the maximum I got in one gig.
Yeah.
I played only 1 hour because there was a big lineup. So.
So
Yeah.
Ahmed, I want to know that do you ever get frustrated when you have to play the song that you don't personally like, but there are too many, say, believers
I-
or other fans, but you have to play it,
It
for
happens,
them?
but I normally don't play what I like. I have to play what people like.
Mm.
So you have to read the
What do you like?
kinda- I like R&B, hip hop.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but I mean the particular songs
Right.
I really don't like to hear even in the car.
Yeah.
So, but you have to play them to please the people. That's how you build up. You read your crowd. You interact with them without. When you don't get requests, it's a good night. Like, it's like the other way around. When you don't get requests for songs or do this,
Is it a
play
piece of
this,
paper? Is
yeah,
it-
can you use my USB? No, I can't. I don't. Do that. It's
Is that the
like-
most infuriating thing for a DJ?
Yeah, one guy told me to play off his phone one song. And
So what is your set like right now? So is it just a computer or do you have like a big
No,
setup?
we do the standard Pioneer kit, which is 2 CDJs and mixer, and we have our application we use, which is Serato. So we use that application along with the existing
Right.
club or venue kit.
Uh-huh.
we-
So I don't
we use the
understand
standard-
how your setup works. So like, is it that you have to press buttons or?
If it's that easy, everybody will be a DJ.
Yeah.
Is it easier now than when
It's-
you started?
It's easier, yeah. I
Because
started
we-
with
because-
the tape. Remember the?
Yeah,
tape,
exactly.
you know?
I remember.
So you have
I'm
to-
old enough to
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Yes, I do remember that.
I started
The
with that.
cassettes,
Then
yeah.
we moved to the digital world with
Yeah.
the CDs, and then
Yeah.
now the laptops. So we don't take CDs with us anymore.
Because since
Everything is
you have come to Oman, the whole scene has changed.
Changed.
And digitally, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think Facebook
Everywhere,
existed
not
in
only in Oman.
2003, did it? I don't think YouTube.
2004.
YouTube probably was just starting around that time.
Yeah,
Has
yeah.
that had a big impact on the whole DJ scene, the whole social media?
Yes, it did a lot of effect. It affected a lot this industry. Plus, now people are more open, more into going out clubbing or having
Yeah.
parties, good time, get together with friends. So it's
But was there like a cultural restriction earlier when it came to
no,
the
not
nightlife
really, no.
and all of that?
It was strange. Some people didn't grasp the idea first.
Yeah.
That's when I was in Egypt. There
Yeah.
were big names, but only limited or specific crowd go to that place or the
Mm.
club or the venue. Now everybody knows where are the clubs. Everybody goes. Like,
Mm. I want to
wherever.
ask you a simple question because I'm a simple person, DJ
Yeah.
Paharaoh. At night,
Look
when
at my face. Look at my face. Like.
I know you're going to love this. When you're doing these nighttime things, it's a very hot venue, very sweaty atmosphere. Your earphones. I was on a plane yesterday. I had my earphones on. And my ears were getting hot.
Yeah.
So, how do you combat your ears getting hot and sweaty in these?
we don't use the headphones all the time.
You have them off and on. Is that-
Off and on, and
You don't have
now I have my
toilet
own
tissue or
fan
something,
now
or-
in the venue. So
Ah, right, I
yeah,
see.
so we kind of get around things in the
So
club.
you don't have like
No.
serviettes or something in your headphones?
Not really. No.
So Ahmad, do you have a gig routine that you go to the venue and then there are these things you do and that's how you start the gig
No,
or your
I
performance?
don't. No. It
It's-
all depends on like on the spot. I plan. I don't have a playlist ready. I don't have crates ready. I don't put songs together. Then I go there, read and.
Do you go on
it's
the
like
mood?
Spontaneous.
Do you go on the mood, the vibe of?
Yeah, with the mood. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you have this one track which is your all-time favorite, which you try to squeeze in?
There are a couple of classics. Yeah, I have.
If
to
you had to
play
pick
that.
one.
Like for example, reggae music. I have to put in one or two every gig I do. It's everybody knows reggae and everybody likes it.
But
I'm
if
not
you had to
mistaken.
describe the people you have to play for here in one word, how would you describe them?
Describe the party people. You mean?
Yeah, the party people. in
I love
Oman.
Oman. So in general, I mean, the people are very friendly, and when they go out like
They're crazy and loud. They're not
not
boring and
really.
tame.
No, not really. They are medium type of,
Yeah.
like let's say decent crowd.
Mm.
We don't have that all activities, all irrational, behavior. No.
You haven't experienced any of that, the irrationality of the people who are like in your parties?
Yeah, once or twice the DJ booth was about to break. You know, sometimes yeah, some
You say it so
out of
casually.
excitement.
It was attacked.
Yeah.
It must have been that.
Like you have to play this. Can you play this? You know, so.
It was refusing those requests. That's what it was. Thank you very, very much, DJ
You're
Phil.
welcome.
It's
Thank
been an
you.
absolute pleasure, and it's, I
Pleasure
can
is
now
mine.
retire saying that we've had a pharaoh on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
From the vibe this week, from the beautiful and breezy
So breezy.
Shangri-La.
My hair.
And I don't know if you can hear it, you watching this wherever you are, but the waves coming crashing in add a lovely little noise,
We
don't
should
they?
move now. From
We should.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's just jump into the water now.
Thank you very much, DJ Pharaoh.
Thank you,
Thank
dear.
you to Shruti as well. Until next week on The Vibe, we're gone. We're going to leave you a look.
She's a good girl. I loves her mama, loves Jesus, and her boyfriend too. She's a good girl. She's crazy about Elvis, loves horses, and her boyfriend too. I'm free. I'm free falling. Yes, I'm free.